I want to come back to Saturday's game. Obviously, it's a preseason game and maybe not against Toronto's A defense, but what can you tell us about what you've seen from your three quarterbacks and your offense back there?
Yeah, I mean, the name of the game is score points, and I thought we did that. We had a huge drive there in the fourth quarter, a 109-yard drive, which is never easy to do against any defense. But all three quarterbacks, I thought, again, ran their offense efficiently. They got protection. The running backs did their job protecting and running the ball. The receivers caught the ball. I mean, it was a good display of what our offense can do. Can we get better? Absolutely. We're always looking to get better. But, the first time out after being in camp for 10 or 11 days, I mean, it's always good to go out there and be able to score points.
It was also Quentin Arco's first professional dip. What did you think about his game?
Oh, I thought he did very well. I mean, he played a lot of plays both on defense and special teams, and I thought you could see why he was a high draft pick for us and why we're excited to have him here. So I think again he's only going to get improvement by playing and being here and practicing and all that stuff. But no, we were very pleased with his performance, and like I said, I know that's not the ceiling that we're seeing. We're just seeing the beginning of it.
Third week of camp, is there any kind of a lull going on amongst the troop?
Zero. I mean, I would say today, we had our first really rain day, and guys are excited about coming out here. We know we're built a certain way and with a certain mentality when we come to work, and it's always nice to see it show up when it's a bad weather day. So I thought the guys were excited here. We're put the pads on right away as well, coming off a hard-fought game. So I thought the guys were excited. The energy was at practice was great. We had a good compete period. Kind of our no huddle compete period was tremendous. So I just love the way they competed. They were probably a little bit too competitive, to be quite honest with you. So we have to talk about that tonight, about how we practice and make sure they're doing it like a pro. But otherwise, no. For 3 weeks, our guys are competing. They know what's at stake and what's on the line, and obviously we're looking to get ready. It's game week for us.
Coach, how many starters are you returning from last year's team?
That I don't. To be honest with you, I don't look at that just yet. I mean, we're. I think, everybody on our team right now has an opportunity. What that number is, to be honest with you, I haven't really paid much attention to that. I do know we have quite a few. I mean, I'll say that. And I know we have quite a few guys back from last year, that we trust and that we know can run our systems and play the type of football we want to play here. So, but there is a great mix of guys here. It's been a very competitive camp, and everybody needs to finish to the end because there is openings.
Consistency is something we've kind of been lacking with the Alouettes for a while. I mean, to have consistency from one year to the next, how much of an advantage is that for you? Is going?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of our. We talk about C words on our team, and that word consistency does come up. I mean, it's nice to have it from an owner to a president to a GM. And the coaching staff and players and all throughout our organization, because it takes everybody to win. And it's nice when you know people that are great people that work together and have common goals, common beliefs. So that culture is big for us, and the biggest part of culture is connection and all that. So no, we're excited about having everybody around here that can do their job.
Can you put into words kind of how much more difficult it is to repeat as champion as opposed to winning as champion? Is it hard, or can you just explain that?
I'll say this. I mean, everybody talks about repeat or defend, and we're not using those words because I think you just try to do the same things every single day that you believe in. And we believe in connection. We believe in culture. We believe in hard work and competitiveness. And if you do that week in and week out and you get better as the year goes on, everybody's stated goals to win the Grey Cup. There is no one that's backing down from that. We're not any different. And this is a new team. It's 2024 team. Not everybody here is going to make our roster was on the 23 team. So that's why it's hard, in my opinion, to say repeat or defend, because this team's totally different. So, there are guys on this team, and this team is going to be labeled as that, and there's going to be that burden, but we don't look at it as a burden. We're trying to go out and win every game. There's not one game we're going to concede. So it's just the way we are approached to every single day, that mantra of win the day or compete every day. We want to be like-minded every single day and never get too far ahead of ourselves. So if we do that and accomplish that goal, I know what we're capable of.
And just last, with to have like cornerstones like yourself and the quarterback locked in for beyond 1 year, is that? Can you explain to me how that kind of you see that? Because it could be seen as an advantage to have that consistency over a bit of time, but also could lead to a little complacency, I guess.
Yeah, I don't. That C word I don't agree with. So I obviously, I think competitive. As long as you don't lose your fire every day and rest on your laurels, We talked about that last year, never resting on anything. I mean, that's why the barometer is set every single day we come in the room. And when the moment we decide not to connect with one another, we don't think that's important. We don't think our culture is important. We don't think competing every day is important. That's when complacency sets in. So as long as we don't see that in our building, you're not going to see that from me, Danny, anywhere, at the top of the organization, as people like to say, but I like to say there's no bottom. So it's everyone throughout the organization. You're not going to see that from us. And the moment we do, we'll talk about it and we'll make some changes. I know that. So, we can't have that here. And the fact of the matter is, our last meeting last year, we talked about that. And the first meeting this year, we talked about it. So it's not something you talk about. It's something you show every day. And that's what we're concerned with, action. And our actions speak much louder than that. So I like where we're headed and where we're going.
I thought Rambo was really dynamic with the ball in his hands on Saturday. I'm just curious what you've seen from him throughout camp and what you saw in the game.
Yeah, no, I mean he's graded out very well. His catch to target ratio is very, very high. He's able to obviously function at a high level in our offense, as we've seen, and any target that went his way, he made the most of it. So. He's obviously dynamic. We know that coming from college and what we've seen of tape of him. There's a reason he's here. So it's just about fitting in and learning the stuff and taking those steps to be trustworthy and to make plays when they come to you. But there's a lot of things that go into that, and he's doing a tremendous job paying attention in our meeting room, taking great notes, copious amount of notes according to his coach. So I think he's doing all the little things that will attribute to success for him down the road.
What's your assessment of your first dip against Toronto last week? I know it's a preseason game and maybe not against their, A defense, but you still had two very good drives, put points on the board. So how was it important for you maybe to get out with a bang like that?
Yeah, that was exactly it. When I talked to the guys, we knew that our time was going to be limited, and I just wanted to find a way to score points on whatever drives we got, and we did that. We scored on the opening drive and then kicked a field goal. Cote hit a long field goal on the second one. So it was great to be out there and just going against another team. Seeing different looks is the biggest thing for me, is just, you get so used to your defense, seeing them every single day, and then going out there and seeing different coverages, different pressures and you don't game plan for preseason. So you kind of just go out there and work plays, work your reads, and I think that's what was best for me. And then on top of that, just being in the pocket again and have that ability to get hit. When you're in training camp, you don't get touched. If you do, people are in trouble. So it was nice to actually get hit again and feel the pocket pressure, delivering footballs with guys in your face. So that was big, but I was really proud of the offense from first quarter to fourth quarter, even when the guys came in and they played really extremely well. And we don't take any game lightly. We want to win every single football game that we're out there. And you could see that on that field in that preseason game that this team wanted it. And we went out there and had a good showcase.
Yeah, is it too early to say if you're going to see some action in the next preseason game?
Given that we're playing Thursday the following week, my anticipation is no, just because if God forbid something happens, a tweaked ankle, something, a normal football injury, you're putting it close to the deadline. So we also have a lot of guys that they have to evaluate as well. And so for me, giving those guys an opportunity, I feel like I'm ready for the season and I don't need any more reps personally. But if they want to play me, I'm full and ready to go. But also there's some guys that need to be evaluated as well.
Yeah.
Winning a championship is difficult. Perhaps winning it again is even more difficult. What makes winning it twice so hard?
I think in the CFL alone is the 1 and 2 year contracts where you see so much turnover on teams where it's very hard to keep your core guys. In the NFL, MLB, NBA, most of the time you have the same teams year after year after year. In the CFL, it's very hard to do that. So I think that's what makes it difficult. But if you look back in the past year, Chiefs won it back-to-back years. If you look at 2009, 2010, the Alouettes won it back-to-back, right? So there is great role models for us to go after. But like you said, it's hard enough to win one and even harder to win two. And so this team's just got to find our secret sauce, what works for us this year. It might not be the same thing that worked for the team last year, right? Because we're a new football team this year, and we're really excited about the guys we have in here and the opportunity ahead of us to defend the Grey Cup. But to tell you the truth, it's going to be a tough battle, and there's going to be some ups, there's going to be some downs, good, bad, ugly, and we just got to fight through it like we did last year. And every given year, you got to do the same thing.
It seems like management, though, did make a concerted effort to bring back as much of they could from the championship team last year. To have that level of consistency, What kind of an advantage is that?
Huge. I think just looking in training camp, how far ahead we are from where we were last year. And I think that's why that preseason game went so well. You know, I joked last time I was talking to you guys, I was just trying to get to know guys' names, right? Names, numbers, backgrounds, let alone what favorite route they run or how they run routes. Now we have that continuity as a personal information, and now we can just talk X's and O's. And we've shared, you know, those tough times, those good times together, and that builds a team stronger than anything. But I think we're further ahead now, and what I like is we'll be more complex in the first couple of weeks than we were last year, because I feel like our offense really hit our stride later on in the year, and so that's what I'm excited about moving forward.
Sorry.
That's okay.
That's all of us. I think.
Amber alert there.
Cody, I'm curious, what's something that you feel that you've improved on the last year since you've been here?
Yeah, I think for me, I lost a little weight in this offseason because I wanted to come in. I felt like in the playoffs, I was able to run and have that explosiveness that I had early on in my career. And the weight that I'm at now is what I kind of ended the year at. When I came in last year, I came in a little bit heavier than I expected. And so I felt this offseason was really working on that explosiveness, that first step, being able to run the ball when I have to. And then in terms of passing the ball, is just being more confident in tight window throws. Instead of just, you know, pulling down the ball and running for 1 or 2 yards, and trusting our receivers, because I built a lot of trust with them over last year. And a lot of these same guys were here last year. And even if you add Tevin in there, you know, I had a year with him and Sask. So to have that continuity and to just have those trust throws, I think that's what makes it a little bit easier on second and long for us offensively, is when you have a quarterback that'll sit in there and just throw it to a spot and trust that the receiver is going to get there.
Just got one more. Just about the connection with the fans, and I know it was only a preseason game but like, how do you feel that has evolved, your connection with the fans from last year to this year?
Oh, it's been incredible. You know, I don't think many people knew who I was last year. And it's just been really cool to hear people's personal stories about where they were when we won the Grey Cup. You know, it's a significant moment. A lot of people saying that they were in tears and they waited a long time for that. And just to bring such happiness and joy to people's households was something that this is why you play the game, right? And just hear their stories and connect with them, and seeing them come out here in our scrimmage game. And then what an incredible attendance we had for a preseason game. It was awesome. And it was great to hear the fans loud and proud again. And like I said, last year, they showed out for us. And so I'm extremely excited for our home opener, but that won't be till week 3. So we'll have to wait a little bit, but I know our fans are going to have our back no matter what. And it's just been excited to connect with them.
What can you tell me about Rambo and what you've seen from Charleston through camp? I don't know how much you guys played together on Saturday. I don't think there was a ton of overlap, but just from what you've seen in camp.
Yeah, I didn't get to play with him much. He got out there with us today due to some injuries. The guy has swagger, but he came from the University of Miami, and I think if you graduate with a degree from there, it automatically comes with swagger. So it's been fun to watch him. He's quick, he's fast, and for being a skinny guy, he's pretty nasty. He'll get in there, he'll block, he'll do everything he can for the football team. And so sitting with him yesterday and just kind of talking with him, it's he's got a great story, and just connecting with him. But he's made a lot of flashy plays, and I can think back to the scrimmage. He made a hell of a catch on the sideline. Guy that you put the ball in his hands, he's going to make plays. And so blazing speed, and it's always that thing where you see a receiver in the 70s number and you're like, well, you got to earn it. And he's one of those guys. Like I said, he makes the 70 number look good, which is really hard to do. And he's had a really good camp.